Hey, what's up? It's Ryan. Thanks for checking out another one of my videos. If we can take that one quick second and do what I always ask and hit that like button and subscribe button, that would be amazing. So with that, let's talk about today's video. So today I want to actually talk about a new film stock that I've been using on my Pentax 6.7. By the way, I'm absolutely loving my Pentax 6.7 as usual. And this past weekend, I actually used it when I went to Englewood Cliffs to take some photos on this beautiful trail that they have that goes right down the Hudson River. You could check out the George Washington Bridge or these beautiful cliffs up ahead and stuff like that. And I took some Ektachrome with me. Ektachrome is a slide film. So what is a slide film? Well, a slide film is film that comes out positive. So what we're used to in regular film is a negative where the colors and everything are inverted and we have to change that in scanning and in post. Slide film, E6 film as it's also known, comes out positive, so the film already is colorized and already positive, and it just looks incredible. I love the way E6 film Ektachrome looks. I just think by itself the film looks amazing. It's just so, the colors are so vivid, the grain is so minuscule, and it's just a beautiful photo to take a look at. So I took out a couple of rolls of Ektachrome with me and I went to Jersey and I walked down this trail and I got some really, like, even as soon as I got them back from the developer, I was just in love with them. I scanned them using my Epson V600 scanner using Silverfast into my MacBook Pro. So Negative Lab Pro is just something I didn't need to use for these. So I headed to Englewood Cliffs in New Jersey, brought a couple of rolls of film, 2 rolls of E6 and then some Portra 400 just for good measure, and just started walking down this trail. I mean, it was, like I said, right along the water of the Hudson River. It was an absolutely beautiful, perfect beginning of fall day. It was cool outside, so I wasn't sweating my balls off, and just really enjoyed walking up and down this path that they have alongside. And as I was walking, there were a couple of shots that I got that really stood out to me and I really loved. The first ones were just me just shooting some photos off of like the water, the rocks, a couple of photos of the bridge as we got close to it. And then the first photo that I really fell in love with, though I did take it a little too quick so it is a little blurry, was this photo of a guy hanging out in his hammock and just overlooking the water. The trees were right there, everything was lined up perfectly, and I got this shot that I just really fell in love with. So that was the first photo I took. As I kept walking down, the trees gave me some really good frames. And I got to this one section where you can see the one end of the George Washington Bridge through this like gap in the leaves. And I got this shot and I really, really love it. And then I just took a couple more shots as I was walking up and down and finished out that roll and then switched over to a Portra 400. First off, for a couple of things about this film that I'll point out before I start talking about the other photos I took with the Ektachrome, was a couple of things. Super fine grain film, like you can barely see any grain in this film. It is an ISO 100 speed film, and I highly recommend that you shoot it at box speed. It is a super contrasty film, so you can see a lot of these shadows get crushed and are very, very, very dark. The contrast in this film is very prominent, so think about that ahead. Almost overexposed a little because you're going to get such crushed, contrasty blacks. And then one final piece of advice and thought behind the film is it gives a kind of like a blue cast to the photos. That could be from the way I imported and scanned them into the computer, but I got a little bit of a blue tone that I just had to change in post by changing the temperature. It's not a big deal, but it's just something I noticed. So the next day I actually went to Long Beach and I went skateboarding with my very, very good friend Phil. We both have these really awesome electric skateboards and we went out on a ride with them. And we just had some fun, but I had an extra roll of Ektachrome and I figured let me take some shots on the boardwalk of Long Beach on the beach. It's a semi-sunny day. The colors are going to come out good. So we went up and down the boardwalk and I just took a couple of shots that really show like the dynamic range of the film. So I'll leave you with two more images that really wants to show something. It's going to show skin tone. So I have two photos here that I'm ending with. One of Phil and one of someone else. One is a black skinned person and then the other one is a white skinned person, and it just shows you that like Ektachrome is really good. So here's a photo of Phil. And yes, he has a mask on and everything. He's got sunglasses on, but you could see it represents him well. Though the blacks are a little darker and contrasty, he still looks good in it. He looks like he did in person. And then this next one is of a person with white skin, and you can see it shows off their skin really well, and the photo came out really well. It was a little soft around this person's face because I kind of missed focus, but it still came out really good, and it just shows the depth and range and color accuracy of Ektachrome. So would I recommend this film? Would I shoot more with it? Absolutely. I am absolutely in love with this. I love the photos I got off of it, and I absolutely love the negatives I get back. I'm actually going to take these negatives and frame them and hang them up in my place because they just look so awesome and good. So I highly recommend checking it out. You can get it on B&H, Adorama, Amazon, or your local photography store wherever you live. It is great. Just remember those things I told you, but enjoy shooting them. Remember to just shoot, like, subscribe to the video, and I will see you next week. Have a good weekend. Later.